This is revision like you have never heard it before. It changes everything. It's not about pretending like the past was different. The fact is, in each moment, you're living a different past anyway. But it's more with your multidimensional power, you gain access to past timelines where you always had what you wanted, where you did get what you wanted, where you did experience it, and that it's not a make-believe thing, it actually happened on the other timelines. And you can realize and shift into a timeline where you were never struggling with that issue, with that problem. And therefore, of course, moving forward, you don't have it because you never did. Please watch to the end of this video because it's life-changing. Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Juliet Cleary. I'm a manifestation coach. And if you resonate with this message, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and tap that bell icon. If you would like to work together, that information is in the description box below for you, as well as the link to my meditation channel. Make sure to subscribe there as well. And the meditation channel now has no mid-roll ads. We have gotten rid of all of them because we're able to do so now. I have never been into revision. It is not something that I have ever wanted to do or resonated with. And then I heard it in a completely different way that I've never heard it before. And it changes everything because you realize you are not trying to make something be different. You're not trying to, remember it differently to try and manifest different things or to try and change someone or change yourself or change your life. No, you're not doing it for any of those reasons. And if you are doing it from that place and you're kind of pretending and trying to fix things, it's why things don't change, and it's why any process feels like effort and struggle and doesn't give you results. Now, again, make sure that you watch this entire video, especially if you have some area or areas of your life where you feel like you have struggled for the longest time, or you've had things happen in the past that you're still kind of carrying around with you and unable to drop. This will change everything for you. This will place you in a completely different timeline and you will be a completely different person. This process is going to show you that you always had the thing that you've been wanting. So it's firstly really important to remember and recognize that in every moment you have a different past, right? Because in every moment you are a different person. It's not even a metaphor or a figurative thing. You're literally a different person moment by moment. And you're constantly shifting into different parallel realities. Now, you may not acknowledge that you're a new person right now, and you can continue to redefine yourself as the same. And so it seems like you keep being the same person with the same circumstances and the same life. But the truth is that you're not. And as soon as you stop doing that and start acknowledging the truth, things will change because you're acknowledging that you are actually different and you no longer need to keep defining yourself in the way that you feel like you have had to. You don't have to. So you change your past all the time. This is not about trying to get rid of something and change something and make something be different because I just can't handle it. No. The fact is, right now, from who you are, more than likely you do not even have the same past that you think you had. So in any moment, you can give yourself permission to drop the old story because it has nothing to do with who you now are and where you're now moving toward. You've actually had many different pasts, and it doesn't matter whether you remember them or not. Even collectively, we have shifted into parallel realities collectively, where previously we did have a different past. And that's what's called the Mandela effect, where people remember things differently, like a group of people collectively. It's like, no, I remember that was different, right? Because we do collectively shift into new parallel realities, new versions of Earth, and we often will forget pasts that we actually have lived. And so this is just important to note because you got to realize that you're changing your past all the time and on an individual basis. In any moment that you're Especially if you're a different person, like you're doing things differently, you're feeling differently, you're showing up differently, you're making new assumptions. You're not the same person that you were even a second ago, let alone 10 days ago, let alone 10 years ago. You're a literal different person with a different past and a different future. And the truth is that everything is here and now. The past and future are illusions, and time, distance, and separation are illusions. Everything is coexisting simultaneously. And this is what quantum physics and quantum entanglement teaches us. So from right here, right now, your 10-year-old self is here now, as well as you 20 years from now is also here now. From all the infinite versions of you that do exist in the same place here, now, all these different versions of you have all different versions of the past and the future. There are infinite realities surrounding you right now. You're so unlimited. So from here now, the choices that you make, the state of being that you're in, the things that you do or think or choose or assume, from the now moment, you create your past and your future. It's not this solid linear thing. Your past and your futures are constantly changing depending on who you are now, the assumption you make now, right? You could be someone who is just miserable and feeling like a victim and feeling sorry for themselves and having so many unloving thoughts and beliefs toward themselves in their life 2 days ago. If you are showing up now differently, making completely different choices, that's a different person. The person who is doing all that and believing all those negative things, that's literally a different version of you. You're not that person anymore. You don't need to keep carrying what you think you need to carry. You're whoever you say you are. And in the moment now that you're actually feeling differently and being differently, your past is different. Your future is different from here and now. But it's, again, in each and every moment, you're a different person. In each and every moment, you have a different past. You have a different future. And so that's important because you have a choice, and it is a choice. You have a choice. I mean, do whatever you got to do if you feel like you need to do some processes or some healing or whatever, but it is your choice to drop the old story because it's actually irrelevant. You have the choice to actually stop remembering that version of your past and associating with it and carrying it with you and retelling that old story. You can do that because you have free will, but it's realizing, oh my God, I have unlimited choices all around me and I have unlimited pasts that I can choose to tap into and remember, and it changes everything. So you're no longer associating and practicing the story of a past. And it is now a story that you're telling that is irrelevant to who you now are, who you now decide you are, choose to be, assume you are. Your assumptions are your life externalized, right? That's what everything outside of you is. Your definitions, your beliefs, your assumptions. Okay, so now you kind of understand this. Let's get into this revision process. You're not trying to make things be different. You're not trying to change things. You're not trying to pretend like that didn't happen, pretend like that did happen. It's realizing you're multidimensional. It's realizing that you have infinite choices all around you right now, that what you're currently living, what you feel like you have lived, what you remember living, is this much of everything that exists. It's this tiny little bit that you can experience with your 5 senses, but everything else here exists too. Every choice, every belief, every thought, every version of you, every reality, every desire, every potential, everything exists here as well for you to choose from, for you to draw from. You're not thinking about the 3D reality as much as you are remembering that you're multidimensional and that you can choose any past. You can choose any future. You can choose to be anyone. Take a subject in your life, an area of your life that maybe for a long time, maybe your whole life or a good amount of time has not been working out for you. You've struggled with it. You've always had issues maybe, or maybe it's just more recently, but you're having issues with this subject and you want to experience, the manifestation of what you want. You want to jump to a timeline where, the problem doesn't exist. Maybe it's even something that you had lived in the past when you were younger, or maybe even in childhood. Again, these versions of you still exist now. And it's something that you have been carrying or haven't been able to let go of or get over. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to acknowledge that infinite versions of you exist, and infinite versions of your past self exist, right? Maybe whenever you started having this issue or something that stands out to you in your past, or maybe it's even just like a few days ago, even yesterday, even earlier today, that there are other versions of your past self, other past timelines that exist here too. And I want you to sift through them and find one where you did get what you wanted, where you see that you always had it. You see that you always had the success, or you always had the abundance. You can begin to see, and this, as you're doing this in your imagination, you're actually tapping into real timelines. You see that you were always loved. You see that you were always wanted, always worthy. You see that you were always confident, that you never doubted yourself. You see maybe if you've struggled with relationships, that you look back into past timelines, into alternate parallel realities where your past was full of loving, easy relationships, where you see that you had the loving, kind, safe childhood that maybe you feel like you didn't get. And then truly seeing and remembering that you did have it. Everything exists here. Everything is here. So there are timelines where it went differently, where it played out differently, and you can show yourself that to give yourself what you feel like you never got, right? From your parents or your childhood, from relationships, from business, from money, from your body, your health. There are timelines where you have always been healthy with loads of energy and vitality. And to see that at whatever age, whether it was a day ago or 20 years ago, to see that I did have it. I do have it. It's a shift in perspective because it's all here now. Whatever it is that you feel like you don't have, you do have it. You do have it. It's here. Look for it. Don't look in the small little 3D, right? Look for it in the infinite potentials, in the 99.99999% of all reality, what's really here. And when you do this, you give to yourself what you felt like you always needed and wanted. Again, whether it was a week ago or it's 10 years ago, you can give it to yourself in the moment and fill that maybe void that you were feeling. You remember that you do have it, that you always had it. You show yourself you always had that life. You're not trying to pretend. You're not trying to fix anything or make believe. You're seeing the timelines where you had it because they exist. And knowing that it's all here for you to choose from any time that you desire to, anytime you need to. And when you do this, you place yourself in a completely different identity, in a completely different reality, a different timeline, a different universe, literally, where even though you can still remember things that you have lived, there are other things that you have lived. And you're remembering those and you're choosing those. You're choosing to give it to yourself and remember that it did happen. In the moment you give that to yourself, you're a different person. You're the person who always had that. And therefore, now as you move forward in this new timeline that you're on, you will see the evidence of that thing working for you because it always did. Because you never had the problem. Remember it differently. And you change everything. But again, you're not remembering some fake thing. You're actually tapping into timelines and real memories that you did have. You did have the easy relationships. You did have the beautiful childhood, the loving, supportive parents. You did have the success, you did have the confidence, you did have the body. You're not pretending, it's here, it exists. And this is also when I tell you to tap into your future timelines, again, they're all here at the same time, but these other realities, these other timelines that you're wanting to live fully and experience in the 3D. And you're tapping into them through imagination or whatever, into a reality where you are that person you want to be, where you are living everything that you want and you never had the problems. Those problems that you feel like you have now, they don't exist in this new reality. And I want you to remember when you do these processes of tapping into this other version of you, that version of you that you're now being in the moment, not trying to be, you're being it in the moment, you're tapping into it. You, from that place, from that point, you have that different past. You don't have, like, this version of you has all different reflections in their reality. They have all different past memories, and you can tap into their past memories at any time for you to actually shift and change and be that new person in the new timeline, but also to see that you always had it. Like, it's so huge if you can wrap your mind around it, that there are all these infinite pasts and that in a lot of them, you did have what you wanted. You do, because it's all present tense. You do have it. You did live it. You did experience it. Remember that past. Remember that timeline. Tap into those real memories. And when I did this about something in my late teens, early 20s, I cried because I realized in the moment that what I felt like I never got in terms of love, support, feeling good enough, being criticized and things like that, to realize that I could give myself, in whatever moment, I could give myself the teenagehood the young adult life that I felt like I really wanted and didn't get. I could give myself the love. I could give myself the loving support from a parent or a relationship, that I could give it to myself now by seeing that it actually did happen and realizing again that as I am different, I'm not the person who had that painful situation or that painful past memory, and I don't need to keep telling that story and bringing it along with me. I can let it go. I can remember it differently because I am different now. I have a different past now. Let me see, like even from here today, I can remember yesterday differently, even though I had an amazing day yesterday. But just say that, you know, I wanted to see myself in a different light. I can tap into the timeline, into the reality, into the version of me who had a different day. And it exists, and I can do that and give to myself whatever I feel like I was lacking. Therefore, I'm a different person. Therefore, I'm in a different reality. I'm in a different life. I'm in a different timeline, and things will start to play out differently for me. Because I've changed everything instantaneously by realizing I didn't have the past I thought I had. I always had it all. Let me reveal to myself what's actually true. I've been holding back on seeing what's actually right in front of me right here and now, that I actually am on that new timeline. I am in that new reality. Things are working out for me, but I've been blocking it by what I've been remembering and the story I've been telling for so long. And if I just stop doing that and remember the new past, the new timeline, the new memories, whether they're past or future or both, I change everything. I allow myself to see what's actually here and where I actually am. I am in paradise. I am in that new relationship. I am in that new relationship with money. I am in that new body. I just wasn't allowing myself to see it, but it's here and I'm allowing myself to see it now. And I'm going to see it faster and faster and faster because I realize I never had the problem at all. Whew, that was big. I hope you took all of that in. That just flowed through me. That didn't even really feel like me. Okay, so use this at any time that you feel like you want to remember it differently, to remind yourself of who you now are and what's now true for you. And you change everything. Because again, the truth is you're not that person right now that has had all those issues, all those memories or things of not working out for the longest time. And as soon as you do shift, it's literally a different person. It's a completely different person, but you must recognize that. You must realize that you're not that person. Everything will change. Right? You're not that person anymore. So use this whenever you feel inspired to. There's nothing that you need to do. This is just a really helpful, powerful process to use if it feels good to you, if it resonates. Okay? You're not trying to fix anything or change anything. You're showing yourself that it's there and it's always been there and you've always actually had it. And there are other realities and other versions of you, other timelines where you did experience it, where you are experiencing it, where you are exactly where you want to be, where you've never had the issues. And it's just tapping into that, remembering your multidimensional nature of who you are. You're not limited. Don't play small any longer. This is revision like you've never heard it. Try it out or let me know how this hit you, how this resonated. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, because when I realized this, I was like, I cried and it really resonated with me. So I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. And if you would like to work together, that information's in the description box below for you. Have an amazing day. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.